Today we are going to discuss about Chapter 2, Algebra and Graphs, and we'll discuss about the topic types of graphs. So in IGCSE Mathematics, we will be studying for 5 types of graphs. The first one is called the linear graphs. The linear graphs. The second type, which we'll mention later, is the quadratic, followed by cubic, reciprocal, and exponential. So basically what we'll be covering is actually from this general equation. Y is equals to ax to the power of n, where a is a rational function, is a rational constant. And n is actually covered by -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. These are all you need in these 5 types of graphs. Yeah. And I will call, there's another one. This is one type. Another type is y is equals to a, b, x plus c, where a is your rational constant, b is also your rational constant. B is your, C is your rational constant, but B here must be a positive integer, or else the graph is not considered as valid. So we're studying these 2 types of equation for this lesson. The first type of graph we'll be covering this equation, linear graphs. The linear graphs if for this equation, if a is equals to 1, if a is 1 and n is 0, therefore we will have fx is equals to a is 1, x to the power of 0, which is equals to a linear graph. Is considered linear, where these graphs will be always, let's say this is your axis, x-axis, y-axis, the graph will be always a straight line, and here is 1. This is origin. It's always this type of graph. The second type of linear graphs is when if a is equals to 1, n is equals to 1, you have fx is equals to x to the power of 1. I shall not write the 1 here. This is also a linear graph. So this graph will be something like a straight line graph. This x is y. Will be a straight line graph passing through the origin. Yep. So these 2 graphs gives us a straight line graph. Straight line for this, if let's say it's linear, it will produce a straight line graph. That's all about linear graphs. second type of graphs will be called the quadratic graphs. The quadratic graphs is when if a is equals to 1 and n is equals to 2, then your fx will be, following this equation, the fx will be equals to x squared. Yeah, this is called the quadratic function, and the graph looks like this. This is the graph of quadratic, and it is giving a graph of parabola. Parabola means this is the shape, a concave shape. Yeah. The third type of graphs is called the cubic graphs. The cubic graphs is when if a is equals to 1, n is equals to 3, you have a function where f(x) is equals to x cubed. So this graph looks like this. Oh, never mind. Just ignore my curly straight line. It looks like this. It's curved at x less than 0, and then outward like this to infinity. This also to infinity. This is called a cubic curve. This is your y-axis, your x-axis. It's called a cubic curve. And the fourth types of graphs is called the reciprocal. There are two types. First is when a is equals to 1 and n is equals to -1. You have fx is equals to x minus 1, or you can say it's 1 over x. So this type of graphs will look like this. It looks like this. This is to infinity, then here also to infinity. Sorry. Here also to infinity, from infinity, here also to infinity. This is your y-axis, this is x-axis. Sorry. We call this graph as hyperbola. The second type of reciprocal graphs is when a is equals to 1 and n is equals to -2. Then your fx looks like x minus 2, or you can say it's 1 over x squared. This type of graphs will look like this. Infinity, or to infinity as well. Infinity to infinity as well. Something like that. This kind of shape is called hyperbola. Reciprocal function. The fifth type of graphs is called the exponential graph. Exponential. As previously I've said, the general equation for exponential is y equals to a, b, x plus c, where a and c are both rational constants and b is a positive integer. Must be positive, cannot be negative, and x and y are the x's. So basically the shape of exponential, if let's say b is greater than 1, right, If less than b is greater than 1, the graph will be look like this. This axis. The graph will be like this. This is called exponential graph. If let's say the b is less than 1, but then it's greater than 0, must be positive. The graph will be look like this. This opposite direction. It goes to infinity. It also goes to infinity. Move outward like this. That's called the exponential graphs. For the C, it's actually it's called the vertical shift or vertical phase, something like that. It means that if you plus C, where C is a number, let's say plus 5, this curve will be moved upward 5 units. If let's say the C is negative 5, then the graph will shift downwards to 5 units. So simple example is like, let's say you have a function of what? Let's say okay, just I don't use number, I use fx as an example. Let's say fx is equals to, let's say this is called fx, this is y equals fx. So let's say fx is abx. Let's say I plus 5. It means that this graph, this curve is going to move up 5 units. It will become like this. Let's say here is 1, let's say. Then now the graph will be moved outward. This axis, sorry. Move up 5 units, so it will be 6. This is fx plus 5. Something like that. This is called the vertical shift.